In this video, I'm going to be going through exactly all the different ways you can sign clients and ranking them based on what is the best methods. And look, if you're new here, my name is Shan, and in the past 9 years, I have built my agency Genflow to deliver $100 million in actual agency revenue. And in that time, I've done every single type of strategy you can imagine to sign clients. And I ended up signing some of the biggest brands and creators and entrepreneurs in the world. You want to know more, click genflow.com. With that being said, let's jump straight in. And this is what we're going to be doing. We've got the classic YouTube SABCD tier list, and I have a bunch of different methods that are the most common that you see on the internet today. I'm going to be breaking them down and going through them one by one and telling you which are the best ones to do. So we will start off with automated cold outreach. Yes, this is the thing that everybody loves these days, and everyone's going to tell you it's the best thing in the world. And fundamentally, it is the worst way to sign clients because you are spamming people and hoping that someone will get back to you so you'll be able to sign them. And the way I'm doing this is ultimately S here tier is all about getting the best clients. And then I guess if you're at the bottom, these methods will give you the worst clients possible. So look, with that being said, let's move automated cold outreach to straight there. And again, yeah, this is ultimately you sending automated email campaigns, which people believe because you personalize through Clay and 7 other tools that is so amazing and is going to print money for you. It's one of the worst ways because whoever will respond to that is going to be the worst client that you can possibly sign, because only the bottom 1% of the world will actually believe those cold emails written in that way and for it to work. So we're going to put that straight at the bottom. And for anyone that watches my content, you know exactly what I feel about that. So we're going to move past that and move into some other ones. Let's pick on content and personal brand. So this is a very interesting method. So I'm a massive believer that the more effort you put in out there in your content, the easier it'll be for you to sign clients. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the A tier. Yes, it is that good. People will tell you don't need to have an audience to sign clients. You know, content is not what you should be doing. You just need to be, sending your email campaigns out. The best thing about content is it is the only method in all of them that lets you show your skill. Because if you sat down and made content about all the things that you actually know, so let's say you're an editor, if you made content about how you edit or why you edit the way you did for a certain piece of content, that will help you sign clients because it's your public portfolio. Don't need to send your shitty portfolio in your Google Drive link, show it to the world. Post it. Post your knowledge. If you create content across different platforms, actually showcasing your skills, it is amazing because it's your public profile. It's your public portfolio. Even me, I think my first YouTube video was 7 years ago. And at that time, it was very important for me to put out what is it that I do and why is it working? Because when I have a meeting with a client, they've already watched it. I would actually used to make pieces of content and I would send links to people to be like, hey man, can't wait to meet you, tomorrow, or can't wait for a call tomorrow. Check this video out. You have an amazing way by using content to preface a meeting, to put your narrative out there. One of the worst things you can do for yourself is be a ghost. One of the worst things you can do is have no content on social media. Nobody wants to work with somebody that nobody knows. Nobody wants to work with someone that is just unknown on the internet. It doesn't really matter who you worked for. It doesn't matter how good your landing page is. It doesn't matter where you buy your leads from. It's very important. Hence why it's going straight on A. Next up, let's pick on Upwork, freelance marketplaces. To be honest, I'm going to put this in C as a way to get clients because in the early days when you don't have many clients, it is a great way. It just depends on your ability. Because if you can service people really well on these marketplaces, A, you build your really good profile on them. B, it's a great way to bring someone in and then make them into a proper client. And a lot of people look past that. I wouldn't. It's a very easy one because all you got to do is have your profile set up and essentially be just, pitching for stuff and responding to people. I know it's small. I know it's only going to be a few $100s. For a lot of you here who are trying to make your first $5,000, $10,000 in a single month, it's a great way to get those projects because it would work. I know many people that I have hired because they were freelancers on Upwork and then essentially almost came in-house to us, or they end up sitting with their own agency and we became clients because I found them there because it's a greater discovery tool. So I would put that as C. I think it's still a good method for a lot of you here. Look, if you're under $100,000 per month, having active profiles on all the marketplaces would be a smart idea for you. Next, let's pick cold calling. So this straight is the worst thing you can possibly do. You should never call someone's phone number. Someone called, I never answer my phone. I was actually waiting for another phone call, so I answered it. And someone's like trying to sell me. It was like AI automation something. And I was like, excuse me, where'd you get my number? And they're like, oh, we're using a LinkedIn scrape tool, blah, blah. I was like, wow. So whoever's in charge of your business, go and tell them that this is one of the worst ways to sign clients. It's like, if you are doing that, you must be so like desperate, stupid, like just don't know how shit works. It's like the worst thing is to call someone up. It's in that moment, are they going to try and like, commit to the next step? It's like, there's so many smart ways to sign clients. Why would you do that? It's one of the worst things to do. Like, nobody wants to be called out the blue. You can't build trust. Little bit different if someone's opted in, given their phone number, and then someone calls them, very different. But cold calling is a definitely no. I would never do it, and it would ruin your reputation, who you are. With that being said, let's move on to the next one. I'm going to pick on paid ads. So paid ads is an amazing method. So I'm going to put that into A. Ultimately, the best thing about ads is that the more you do on ads, the better it will do for you, because your pixel lands, and once it gets data, it will get better and better. The thing about paid ads also that's very good is because you can fundamentally put out what is it that you're trying to do so someone can come to you. We find better results through paid ads than even organic because you are targeting people. And if you make the right content with the right hooks, with the right stuff, you can really pull people in on the right messaging so you can get a better, highly qualified lead versus the other methods. And that's where paid ads is amazing. But of course, paid ads, you need money. But as soon as you start making money, I will start running ads. Most agency owners that I speak to don't even have a pixel on the website. Forget running ads. But running ads is one of the best ways because you have the chance to get in front of the people that you want to get in front of. And then the more you do that, the better it'll become. So it becomes very easy. Also, if you can really solve problem for, your ICP, your potential clients, then it gets even easier because you can call that out in your content, right? You know the problem someone's having, so you can help them. For example, if it was me, I'm like, you suck at signing clients or you're not good at signing clients. I can help you with signing clients because I've done it so many times. And I could say, come to Genflow and check it out. But with that being said, there'll be a link down below because we help agencies. Saying that, if you just click down below, is exactly what we do. At Genflow, we help other agencies scale because we know how to scale. So we actually now help other agencies doing the exact same thing because we've been through it all. We have all the playbooks. We have all the resources. If you're an agency owner right now and you're interested in growing, scaling, whatever, click the link down below and check it out. And there might be something that we can help you with. But just like that, right? Because if you do ads, you know the problem someone's having. So a lot of agency owners now I know are struggling with trying to scale because they don't have a reliable, proper acquisition strategy. If you did, you'll be able to sign clients and scale. So paid ads is an amazing one. Next, let's pick on hot outreach. So for anyone that watches my content, this is going straight to the top. It is by far the best way. Why? Because it's the way I've made $100 million for my agency. Why? Because it makes all the logical sense. Why? Because it'll always be the greatest way to do business. And, maybe you don't like hearing that. Maybe you want to go watch someone else that tells you AI is the right way, right? Or you need 72 tools and to scrape and put together and do all that stuff. Or you can just email people. For me, look, fundamentally, if you want to scale your agency today, you're 10 clients away. Right? 10 clients paying you between $5,000 to $10,000. You've made it. And you'll be making 100,000 plus more a month. You'll essentially be a 7-figure agency, but just getting 10 to 15 clients, right? So that's the thinking, right? All of this is based on that because that is the goal. That is the goal for most people. It's different strategy if you're a $1 million agency today and you want to grow faster. If you do, click the link down below and I'm sure we can help you. But it's a very different strategy for large agencies. Obviously, we've been, done 8 figures revenue for 4 years straight now, 10 million plus, $23 million last year, should get close to 30 million this year. Completely different world, right? Because it's a very different world. But in the stage that you're probably at, hot outreach is the best thing. And what is it? Right? I'll say it very, very briefly. You're going to manually email people, tell them the problem that you can help them with because you've identified it. You're going to tell them the solution. And then you're going to actually go ahead and just say it in the email. And then they're going to want to work with you. That's how it works. And again, if you want to learn how, click the link down below. Moving on from that. Next one. Could you get a lead gen agency? I'm going to be honest, it goes straight into the D tier. If as an agency owner, you can't get your own leads, you are screwed. Because it means you don't know sales. You don't know marketing. If you can't sell your own self and you need someone else to help you do that, you should not be an entrepreneur. I don't care what you say. I don't care what the other guy says. It's just a fact. You need to be the guy who knows how to market. You need to be the guy who knows how to grow. And I'm saying that from context, right? I got to $1 million plus with my agency in 14 months from launch. 14 months. It's because I understood the assignment that I need to drive leads. I need to close clients, nobody else. People are paying people for get leads because they got booked calls and stuff like that. It's just it's so wrong. Yeah, again, will it work? Yeah, look, I'm not saying none of these work. You're just going to get the worst clients. You want a client to pay you $1,500 and ghosts you after 2 months? Cool. Go to a lead gen agency. You want to have a calendar full of booked calls and you get on, 3 show up, 3 don't, 3 that show up, clearly just apparently were qualified, but one, but they weren't really, they never responded afterwards. Maybe you sign one of them, bottom end clients. Just know that every lead gen agency that's we booked calls that were worth this much, they're just picking a number what a client is worth to make themselves sound smart. Anyone doing automated call outreach would tell you that it doesn't really work. Yeah, some people respond, but that's about it. Anyway, you get the idea. Don't use lead gen agencies, do it yourself. Next up is partnerships. So I like partnerships. I think partnerships are a great way, and I'm going to put them in B tier. So let me explain. So partnerships is in a couple of different ways. So you can actually partner with other agencies. And if you're smart, you know how to do that. So even in my early days, I went and partnered with talent agencies. And I was like, hey, you guys are creators. You don't know how to monetize them through digital products. Let us do that. So we partnered with them and we would get a whole list of clients in one go. And normally you pick and choose the ones you want to work for, and it works. Just 10 minutes ago, before I started this video, I got an email from a massive podcast network saying, hey, we have creators that have digital products, but they're struggling to grow them. Do you think you can help? So now we will approach them and say, hey, we can put a partnership together. So if someone wants to do a podcast, we'll bring them to you. If someone you have that wants to do a digital product, you bring them to us. Partnership. I've done that time and time again. The secret to partnerships is you gotta give people money behind the scenes. So if I was to sign a creator on 20% or $10,000, I would have to kick some of that to the other party because they bought me the client. And the client doesn't need to know about it. So I'm paying off so many agents. I'm paying off so many middlemen. I'm paying off so many people in the background. People would never know. And that's the beauty of partnerships. A partnership is a great way if you drop your ego and think, I'm a D2C design agency. Maybe I should go and work with Shopify agencies who build pages because we work with the same client, right? If you're doing short form content, find, and you want to do cut downs for podcasts, go and work with a podcast agency. Because then the podcast agency can be hey, we also have a partner agency that can do your cut downs, right? That can do your clips. Be smart. Amazing way because it's free. It's called deal flow. So, and people in the game call it deal flow, right? You need deal flow. You need leads, right? It's a great way to get leads. Warm leads, real leads, qualified leads. It's amazing versus going and get cold people. So partnerships. Love it. Next, let's jump on DM appointment setters. Look, I actually think DM you sitting and messaging your team is good because you guys are owning it. What I don't like, and I think is a terrible way to sign clients, is using essentially third-party setters or kids, basically. I call them kids, but you know what I mean. These are you young guys that are setters and they're going to sit in your DMs and just destroy your business. So if you're doing DM setting yourself, yes. If someone actually your team is doing it, yes. But if you're getting to an external agency, it's a no. So I'm going to put it down and see, because nurturing through DMs, yes, but not using a DM appointment setting company that can help you get leads or nurture your leads. And lots of people say that to you, right? If you hire your own and train them, then yeah, if you do that, then it could be A or B, potentially. It depends on how good you're doing. Next up, I'm going to jump with buying leads, as you would imagine. You know what? I want to be a bit nice. I'm going to put that under C. Even though it relates to the bottom, I'm going to be a bit nice because, look, I know some of you will struggle, right? So I think, look, if you could get a list of emails that you buy, I would just be very, very strict with filtering them. If you can filter them down to the ideal clients you really want to work with, and then if you could sit and research every single one of them, find the problems, find the angles, and then do the hot outreach, then it's good. But if you're going to buy the leads, trying to do some personalization, you're going to put some 3-step flow campaign on and you're going to blitz some emails, then essentially it's terrible. So, it's not the worst. Buying leads, same as scraping tools, right? A LinkedIn scrape tool, etc. It's not bad. It depends what you do with the information. So as a way to get information, it's not bad. And for a lot of people, you give them a way to feel good because you wake up and you have some leads to play with. But I would still be recommending doing all the other stuff as your primary way to sign clients, because you will always get better clients in that way. Next up, it's live webinars. So live webinars is an interesting one. It works amazing for digital products. So when you do a live webinar and at the end of it, you pitch something and people buy from you. But in the agency world, it won't work as fast because you're selling a service. So I think live webinars are good to building authority. Live webinars are still good for you to kind of showcase your skill. You can cut that down, make clips out of it. But ultimately, it'll be hard for you to sell something at the back of it, but you'll be able to get very warm leads. So it's kind of like doing content, but in a different way. So let's put that in B as a way to sign clients. Because I think if done well, it does show you authority and that could lead to something. Next, I'm going to talk about referrals. So just as I was saying with partnerships, I think referrals are a great way. So we're going to put that into A. The key with referrals though is having a program, right? So today we have clients. So I'm paying someone because they helped me get somebody else, but the person that we got would never know that we're paying them. But referrals is great, right? So I have always said to my clients, hey, if you can get us a more client, I'm going to give you this. But what we do is don't just say that we do the work. So I'll get my team to go through who do they follow, who follows them, who interacts with them. The moment I see a little bit of like, yo, this guy's talking to that guy and that guy could also be my client, I'm like, go and give me that client. I'll pay you. And it's amazing. It works. So referral is a great thing. You don't need many clients to start referrals, so you should be doing referrals. The next method is AI Loom. So I don't know if that's the exact right term. Essentially, it's this new thing, right? That you can make a video for someone, like sending them a Loom, and like it changes the name when you say something. For me, all of this stuff is like just gimmicky. Right? Like the truth is someone may fall for it, etc. But it's not really about that. What's going to move the needle is what's the narrative, right? What are you physically saying in the email? What's the angle? What's the problem that you have identified that you can help them solve? And that's the key. The truth is with all of these methods, the real way you'll sign someone is if you can actually say to them the problem they're having in the business and what the solution is. Not if you join the call, then I'll tell you. Or when you opt in, then I'll tell them the problem. And a lot of people do this wrong. They'll basically frame it like, you have bad engagement. I know the answer. Watch this video. And it's like, no, like, because you're now, it's almost like condescending to like the person, no, your thing is not bad. If you say to someone your thing is just bad, they're like, no, it's not, right? If I said to you, your agency is terrible, they're going to be like, no, it's not, right? Because that's not the way to do it. It's about identifying in a way to be like, look, this is what I noticed the problem is. And this is why I'm saying that. And then this is like what the solution could be. And this is actually what it is. And the truth is, like, as I mentioned, at Genflow, we help agency owners. And when I speak to agency owners, that's like the biggest thing. They are not being upfront with their skills. They're not being upfront, like, actually doing the thing that they want to do when they get paid for. The thing that you want to get paid for, if you start doing that more upfront in your content, on your sales calls, you will end up making more money. Obviously, I know it's crazy to like say and watch someone that, you know, we're doing like between $2 to $3 million a month that has that physically possible. And honestly, it's just because when you have skills, then people will pay you to solve their problems because of those skills. And that's the game. So the easier you can get. And why does hot outreach, where did it come from, right? Because I was just doing what I would do naturally. I'm like, you have a problem. This is the problem. I've never read a sales book in my life. I did what I thought was right, which was, I'm on a call. I'm like, I need to show this person I can really help them, right? So I'm like, hey, this is your problem. This is how I would solve it. And blah, 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 blah. And then they would want to pay me to do it. And because I've always gone into every call, every client relationship with like wholeheartedly, there is no agenda. There's no me like, ooh, let's see how much money I can get away with. And I've seen so many agency owners like that. They think it's some game or it's some framework or something they need to follow to get to the result. When all along, the answer is that you need to just showcase your skill and then someone is going to want to pay you. It's as simple as that. And that's what works. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to help at Genflow, click down below. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.